Hi there friends, how are you today? It's Sharon here from the blog I Restore Stuff, ready to show you another DIY project. So I'm excited to be here on Essential Stencils page as one of their ambassadors, and I'd love you to let me know where you're watching from as you're jumping on to watch the show today, our live broadcast. I'm just going to check out laptop here. I can see a couple of people joining. And I can read the comments a little better if I can find my live over here. And here we go. Let me know how you are. If you are watching the replay too, by the way, because we do get a lot of people jumping on the replay. And so if that's you, in the 24 hours after our live has finished, you'll be able to comment the word replay for another chance of winning a prize. And we do give away prizes at the end of our live. So you'll know if we're live, if there's a little red live button up in the corner of our video. So hi Janice, and Diana's here, Bronwyn, Joyce Ann, how are you all today? Paula's here, hi from New Mexico. And I can see Evelyn's here, Elizabeth, good morning, from Massachusetts. Audrey's here from Long Island, New York, all over the USA. So excited that you're all here. And thank you, Bronwyn, for sprinkling. I forgot to bring my little sign here today to remind you of that. Yeah, I'd love it. We love it when you share our lives. So you just hit that little button down there and let everybody else know on your Facebook page who would love to do a DIY. You can even message it to people while we're right here live, and then you'll just jump back right here on the live. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sprinkling the love. All right, so here's my code, I Restore Stuff. You can see that up here. I Restore Stuff is the code you need today to get 10% off anything in Essential Stencils shop. And I'm going to be showing you some of the things that we are doing today. I've got an Easter theme happening, so I don't know if you saw the description of the live or if you can see that. But we've got an Easter kind of a theme happening. But I think that the Easter thing that I'm doing today could be an all year round kind of project when you think about it. So let's have a look at what we're going to do. Hi Kay, oh my goodness, there sounds like there's ice storms everywhere, guys. Here I am in Australia enjoying the summer sun. Looks a bit overcast today, but yeah, praying for you all to be safe in those storms. Stay safe, everyone. Hi Barb, thank you for saying hello. Thank you, Lois. Yes, that's the code, I Restore Stuff. So it's all just one word. And you can use that to get 10% off in the essentialstencil.com site. And the links are also usually pinned to the top comment. When I start stenciling, Essential Stencil will pop those links up there, and you can click on those and go to the links as well. Also in the description of the live, when the live's finished and it's all over and you're going, what did Sharon use for that live? Just look at the description and the links will be right there. You can click on those. It'll take you there and add your discount 10% off at the checkout. Hi Kim, how are you? All right, so here is what I'm using today. It's just an upcycled sign that I found at a thrift store. You may have seen me use one of these, probably a month or so ago. I found two of these. So what it was some kind of sign, and it just had a print on it, and I just literally sanded it back and painted over it in this kind of an off-white tone. And it's a cute little signboard. I think it's going to work great. So you could use it this way, or you could use it lengthways. Today I'm going to use it lengthwise. So I will show you the stencil sets that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a couple of them, and these ones are available on the Essential Stencil website. First of all, I'm going to be using this set, which is the He Is Risen. You can see the He right here. It's a porch leaner sign stencil set. It's the He Is Risen sign set. I'm trying to stretch forward there to see if you can see all of that, but it actually comes with some bonus little bits and pieces that I wanted to show you how I'm going to use those on this board, because obviously this is not a porch leaner and I'm not going to fit He Is Risen in these huge letters all the way down my signboard. But you know what else you can do with signboards is you can use, Essential Stencil actually has some great alphabet sets that you can create for you could use for porch leaners as well. I also love to just mix and match letters from some of the sets that you can do as well for creating other signs. So there's that. So we're going to be using that. I'll show you that in a minute. And we will be using this Love Like Jesus set, which I believe is available there on the site right now. Some of you may have got this already in the spring bundle. Was it available in the spring bundle? I can't remember, but that's on the site. And I want to throw in some of these Spring Bunny transfers. And those of you who already pre-ordered your spring set would be getting these either this week or last week. I'm not sure. I think they've been still sailing across the land, heading to your place from the post office if they're not there already. But these Spring Bunny transfers, they won't be actually on the site as available just at the moment because they're still shipping the pre-orders. It'll say coming soon, but I've heard next week these guys will be available again next week. So I will show you those. All right. So with this set comes with 6 plus a bonus. So there's actually 7 stencils in this. We call them minis. It's a 6-pack mini plus 1 free. So really 7 in the pack. It's kind of Valentine's themed, and I know Valentine's is over. It does have the little hearts there, but you can use hearts year round, can't we? And yes, Diana says you've mixed and matched sets on your stenciling. You did it today. Awesome. Yes, I am going to use some money transfers. Love Like Jesus is one of the stencils. I'll go through them all here. We've got, but the greatest of these is love. I think I'm going to use that one today. What does this say? Rooted and established in love, Ephesians 3:17. So gorgeous verses here. So nice scripture verses. We've got trust the Lord with all your heart. And the last one is God knew my heart needed you. Isn't that cute? That would be great for a card, and just a beautiful encouragement card or an encouragement sign to gift to someone. You could pop that on the front of a gift bag. I did a gift bag idea last week. You would have seen that in last week's live. But yeah, I think that I put my sign aside and then I mixed it all up with these. Okay. It is a beautiful set, Bronwyn. I agree. Hello. Thank you so much for coming on, everybody, and sharing our live around on Facebook land. So on this set here, so it's called He Is Risen. It's a vertical 5-foot porch sign. And so we've got, He, and then there is risen. I'll get these all around the right way. So it comes with all of the letters to make He Is Risen. We've got the N by itself there. The is a beautiful font like so. And then there are 2, not 1, but 2 crosses inside this pack. So that is what I'm going to be using on my board today. There's a mini one and there's a large one. So if you do have this set, or if you don't, you can get that today. It's on the website. It's available there. I just thought I'd measure it because I know someone's going to be asking me, how large are those crosses? So this one is approximately, it's a little bigger than 5 inches. I'd say 5 1/4 inches tall by 3 1/2 around about. And this one, and I'm not measuring the full stencil, I'm actually measuring the actual cross. And this actual cross is 10 1/2, around approximate, okay? 10 1/2 inches by about 7 inches across. So I'm going to be using this one today, but it does come with a couple. So where is the word is? So when you're doing He Is Risen, you can see on the example right here, see how they've used, let me see if I can show that. They've used is over the top of the cross. I actually think it's rather clever. So they've got the cross here and the word is goes over the top of the cross so that when you're looking at it, it almost looks like, the shroud or Jesus' cloth hanging on the cross. I think it's kind of cool, the way that kind of letter drapes on there. I don't know if that's meant to be like that, but I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, that's the cross I'm going to be using today. That set is linked. It'll be linked in the comments in a minute, but it is called He Is Risen. So any of these are pinned. There'll be a pinned comment soon. They'll be in the description of the live, or you can just look up using the search bar on Essential Stencil site, essentialstencil.com. Just use the search bar and type in Easter or type in He Is Risen and you'll find that one there. Okay, so that will fit perfectly on my signboard here, and then I'm going to add some other things around it. I'm going to add this verse on here somewhere, and the verse reference down the bottom, but the greatest of these is love. And then with the spring transfers, hi Rick Debbie, good to see you. You're excited for tonight's project. I'm so glad. Now with these, it comes with two sets. You can see one bunny missing right here on mine. It comes with two sheets. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. And that's because I've cut this one out. So this is the sheet that I've already cut something out of before. This is the sheet that I want to use today. You know what? I'm not going to be using any bunnies today. I'm going to be using the flowers, because if you look, they've got some gorgeous tulips. There's some bunches of whatever these are, purple flowers. I'm so bad with flower names. You're going to have to help me out there. And this one, I don't know, it looks like a daffodil or something else here. Some gorgeous spring flowers. Even this set up here, it could be a part of this, or you could cut this out to use it standalone. So I'll have a play with those after we've got our design on and see what I can cut out to do my transfers with today. All right, so putting this one aside, I'm going to pop you down here so we can see the board, because that will be a lot easier to see. There you go. All right, so with our cross that I'm going to be using today from the He Is Risen set, I'm going to move it up towards the top, because then I want to fit my words down here, and then I'm going to add some of the flower transfers around the base here. And I may even take the verse reference off and add it somewhere down the bottom. So I'll use some tape for that. To do our cross, and I'll just add a bit of painter's tape around the edge, I'm going to be using Fusion's kind of a brown, I don't know, it's a greyish brown colour. It's called Hazelwood. Now if you do want Fusion mineral paint, it does come in these little tester pots that fit these stencil brushes perfectly. They're really good. Now because this cross has a large area of space, it has the small lines around the side. I'm going to be using the larger brush, because that'll be sort of easier to do. And I wanted to do, I don't know, where was it? Did I do the Noah's Ark last week? I think I might have done that. But I used that sort of driftwood dry brush technique on the ark to kind of make that look rustic. I think I want to do that with this cross today. Let's see if I can do that with the cross and create a bit of a dry brush technique with the stencil brush. So let's try that. Let me know what you are crafting on. Are you crafting while you are watching the live today? Don't forget you can use my code iRestoreStuff and get 10% off Essential Stencils, any of their stencil products. I think my cross is a little bit off center, so let me just move that across and make sure I've got it right. So I'm moving it right towards the top, and there we go. Okay, so I've got my piece of offloading cardboard or paper right here. So when we dip it in, also what I did want to mention, if you do want I do have an affiliate link for the Fusion mineral paint. If you wanted that, I can pop that in the comments for you, or if Essential Stencil is there, they might do that too. So we want to offload. I've got some of the paint on the brush, but you can see it's all kind of quite thick on the brush. I want to wipe that off as much as I can. Kathy has made a bunny with sunflowers yesterday. That's awesome. And someone, oh, I missed who that was. Vicky, you're working on a Get Well basket. That's awesome. I love to hear what you guys are doing and crafting with. Okay, so I've brushed most of that off so that it's almost dry. I can see that if I test it out on my cardboard here, it's almost dry. I've just brushed a little bit on the top there. So I want to do sort of I will have to fill in the smaller areas of the outside of the cross, but I wanted to create a bit of a dry brushing technique. So I will have to have hardly any on the brush, but some of these lines I will have to just press a little harder. But with dry brushing, if you want to do this kind of technique, let me stand up so I can move it closer to where you are. And this is my zooming in technique. Doing the camera by ourselves here, it's tricky sometimes. So I'm filling in a little bit, but not too heavily on these edges, and then I want to show you this area in here where I'm just going, see that, going across back and forth. Now the surface here that I painted over does have a little bit of a grain, which you can see that. So when you do that dry brushing method like this, see how that looks quite rustic? When you do that, it does show up a little bit of the grain there. So I think we'll do this one going up and down, but let me first lay that down so I can just give this a bit more of a swirl up the top and around these edges where that trim, I guess we'll call it a trim, of the cross is. I want to get that so it really, not too heavy, but I want to make it so that it sort of stands out a little bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to do that again on this downside of the cross, and again I'm offloading the brush till it's almost dry, and now I'm going down, sort of some down strokes, and it's kind of quite a dry brush. Sort of running out towards the bottom, so that's okay, because when you're trying to do this method you don't want too much on your brush or you'll get lots of splotchy bits. I've got a couple right here, but that's okay, I don't mind that. And you can see it kind of, it's stronger on where these joins are on here, so just adding a little bit more. Hi Melinda. Okay, I'll try and get back to you when I've finished the live and add that link in for the Fusion, my affiliate link for the Fusion paint. There we go. And I'm just going to see if I can get these edges again, because I want those a little bit thicker or heavier to make them stand out. So sometimes I'll swirl. If you've seen any of my other lives, I usually kind of do the swirly method. You might find your own kind of method of doing stenciling, but it's one of my favourite to use. Okay, so it does look like it's going across, but that's because the grain of the wood is going across, even though I'm going up and down like this. So that's interesting. I might just add a bit more. What I'm trying to get is, see this, what I called a patchy or blotchiness here. I'm trying to add a little bit more stroke, downward stroke on it. If I can't, that's okay, but I've got a little bit more here. See that downward stroke here? And then a little bit more. You can always add, or you can't really take away. I guess you could sand it a bit more, but let's see if I can add a bit more here. Just one more little stroke. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there's a big chunk there. Okay, let's see how that turns out. That's the colour Hazelwood. All right. And Essential Stencil has just pinned some of the stencil sets that I'm using today so that you can see where to get those, and you can use my code. It should take you to automatically put the code in at the checkout. But look at that. See how it looks like a rustic wooden cross there then. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave off this outer line. If you wanted to do that, you could just put painter's tape all on the outside so you don't get that bit, or just leave it like that, exactly like I've done. Remember, there was two of these. There's another little bonus cross in here as well, so you've got those to play with. So if you had a smaller sign, or even on this similar size board, I think this is approximately about 10 by 14 inches. So there's that one as well. That's both in the large porch leaner. Here's risen. Look, that even fits almost right in there. But you could have a smaller cross and then your saying down here. But I'm going to put my saying on top of the cross. And I'll just pop these off. So I could probably use those earlier. If you're going to clean your stencil, probably do it right away. But because I'm doing a live, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it later, but I just use something like, you can use dish soap, I think, or a bit of Awesome spray is also another thing that you could use. Now, I'm not going to be using this colour again. I've finished with that, so I'm going to pop that in water right away so that that soaks off, and I'm going to just use, this is Victorian lace, which is a white colour in the Fusion Mineral Paint, and coal black to see what might stand out the best. I know the white could be nice, but I might do that as a shadow behind the black, and then the black will stand out against this brown colour. It'll also stand out against the grey, but that white will give it a little bit of a pop. Now I want to tape off the 1 Corinthians 13:13, which probably says this, but the greatest of these is love. I'm going to tape that off. First of all, just put it on my apron and collects a little bit of lint so that it doesn't stick too heavily on there. So I want to put my stencil around about here, and because I wanted to add some of these transfers in a minute, so what I might do right now is actually grab my scissors and cut out some transfers and have a play with the placement of the stencil as compared to where I'm going to put the transfers. So this is, it's in the link in the description of the live, Spring Bunny transfers. These will be back on the website next week. So just remember that, and you can use my code IRestoreStuff to get 10% off that as well. Okay, so I'm going to just be cutting out some of the floral arrangements because I want to see which ones will fit best. So the transfers, if you've never used the transfers before, let me know in the comments. Some of you, every time we do a live and we're using these transfers, some of you are saying, I've got the transfers, but I'm too scared to use them. So I want to see, is that you today? We're going to do another live and show you another demo of how to use them. It is pretty super easy. Look, this floral here has a butterfly right above it. So I'm going to cut this out and also cut the butterfly as well. So there's a white paper backing on the transfers. You don't peel it off until you've cut everything out exactly as you want it. So there's that. Can you see the little butterfly up there? That is so cute. So let's see, at the foot of the cross, I think it would look cute because I want to make sure I can fit my words as well. Yeah, and I mean, you can stencil over the top of these, or leave them, or put these on top of the words, but I think because they are a little bit translucent, I do like that. Let me see if I might find a third bunch. This one's kind of small. Might go, I like the butterfly there. Maybe just 2 is enough. What do you think? Yeah, these are the most adorable transfers. I do like this to go with that wreath on the rabbit there. There's another butterfly right here. Actually, the butterflies are just really pretty. I might add that one in. We also, I'm pretty sure there's butterflies also in that spring bird cage transfer set. You know the one I'm talking about? Pretty sure that's still available too. If you just use the search bar again on Essential Stencils website and type in the word transfers, you'll see all of the transfers available. See, look at that butterfly. That would look cute just sitting at the top of the cross somewhere. We could do that. All right, let's go ahead and cut out this bunch of flowers also because, I've got to have options. We've got to have options, don't we? Let's see. When is Easter this year? Can anyone type in the comments? I think it's in April this year, correct? Am I correct? Sometimes it's late March, sometimes it's early April, sometimes it's later April. I have a feeling we did look up that this week. It's maybe mid-April. So we've only just started March. So if you do order these next week, I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of time to get these before Easter. And we are into spring, and these are just beautiful for spring. Even the bunnies are so cute just for spring, aren't they? All right. Oh, I do like these also. So that gives us a bit of a choice when we get down to it. We could do all 3, just coming out from the bottom, but I don't know, maybe is 3 too many? 2 or 3? Well, let me see. Okay, April 9th is Easter. Thank you. Thank you, guys. That's helpful info. Yes, let me know what you think, if I should use 2 or 3. But that gives me an idea now. So I'll start with doing my words on here, but the greatest of these is Love. And like I said, see, we could use this not just for Easter time, but year round. This is the year round kind of project, isn't it? Okay, I think I'm doing white as a shadow. And I will use a smaller size brush for smaller letter spacing because they're quite tiny. I'll just use this, make sure I've got it in the center. If I look at the V and the O, because Love, it's got 4 letters, so it's easy for me to sort of see what is central. And I think that's a good spot right here. I'm also taking into consideration where these lines go on the board, so that helps me decide around about what center is. Now I'm going to offload again. Janet, you're not crafting right now, you're cooking homemade soup. Of course, it's nighttime over there. What is it, 7 or 8 at night? Central time anyway. It's probably all sorts of times where you are. Thank you, Debbie. You are so welcome. Okay, offloading my brush, and I have still lots of paint on the brush. Look, I've moved it over and I can still see paint on the brush. So I'm going to just use this as a bit of a shadow. It helps it will help the brown tones stand out from the black is going to be my top layer. So I've got white and then I've got the black which will go on top. So I'm just using this white, and because this is grey, the white will stand out a little bit on here, but you know, it's not going to be too noticeable, but I just really mainly want this to be used as a bit of a standout shadow for the words to pop out a bit, because I'll be using the black for the words. Sonia, husband is gone and time to play. You go, girl. What's the name of the colour on the cross? It's called Hazelwood. That's a fusion mineral paint colour, Hazelwood. It's kind of a beigey brown colour. Where was I up to? I can hardly see on here where I'm up to. Well, this is going super quick because I've got a lot of paint on my brush. I hope I don't have too much. So remember that if you have too much paint on your brush, it will cause bleeding under the stencil and fuzzy edges on your stencil finishes. So you want to just have hardly anything on your brush, offload it there, and then we can do a little swirl. And I've got now a shadow to go underneath my words. Show you how that looks. So you can see them, but it doesn't stand out too much. See that? But the greatest of these is Love. So we want to make that stand out and really pop a little bit more. So I am finished with the white, but I'm not sure if I might use it again. So I'm just going to put it in a wet cloth so that it doesn't dry out, while I now go over with my black. And because I am using black, I'm going to need that wet cloth, hang on, to wipe my stencil off. I'm going to pop it in a plastic bag, which is also a great idea for storing your stencils in between coats, or if you're going to use it again later, to do that. Okay, I'm just going to quickly rub off the white, because obviously if I'm going to do black over the top of this, we will create a grey with black and white if I left that white there. So I'm just, make sure, and this is, I've got brown paper down here. I do have a towel. I could just hit that with a hairdryer and dry it off really quickly, or try a towel to wipe that off, because you want your stencil to be really dry when you're using it. If I was using that black, and that's the same with your brushes also, so a top tip is if I'm using a stencil brush, I don't want to put my white in the water, rinse it all out, wash it, dry it off, because even if you've dried that brush off, say this was the one that I had just done the white on, I've washed it off, I dry it on my cloth, it's still got a lot of water in the brush. And so my tip to you is use an extremely dry brush, like totally dry, because when you then go in with your black paint, if it's still wet, it will still create a bit of runniness, and it won't be as thick, and you just won't get as nice a result. So I think that is dry now. And So now when we're placing this down to create that shadow effect underneath, we want to just slightly offset it from the white to put the black on the top. And I'm going to place it and show you how I do that. So I place it, I find where it is exactly. So I find where the white is, I line that up, and you may not be able to tell exactly here. So that's where I stenciled the white. Now I want to shift it slightly up and slightly across. It doesn't matter which way across. I usually go up just because a shadow is usually underneath something because the sunlight comes down from above. But so that's where I'm going to pop it. And then that will turn out with a white shadow line on the lower side, lower right side. And so I've shifted it slightly up and across to the left, your left. I've got to speak backwards, I've got to do things upside down and backwards. It's a bit tricky. Michelle says, can't wait to see how you do the shadowing. Yes, I've done quite a few shadowing kind of videos. If you are wanting to see more of this technique, you can see it on larger stencils. If you go to the video section right here on Essential Stencils Facebook page, you will find a playlist that's called Shadowing, where I have done shadow type technique in the past. So too much black on the end of my brush, so I'm going to offload that on my paper. Just want a little bit. You can always add more, but it's hard to kind of take it off once it's seeped in under the stencils. So we're going to go over that now. We can always add another coat if it turns out too light. But it looks like there's plenty on the brush. And like I said before, that white isn't too different from the off-white colour that's here, so it may not stand out as much on this bit, but on this wooden cross section, that white shadow should turn out, it'll just give it a bit more definition. And last little bit of black that I had left over on this paper here, and then I'll get some more next time I need it. Okay, I want a little bit more on my brush. Linda, you received your pre-order. That's so exciting. Yes, so if you did order the spring bundle, the pre-orders should be almost all sent out. If you haven't received them yet, they will be in the mail. They are coming to your place. And so these beautiful transfers that I'm going to be using today, some of you have already got your spring bundles, so I want to know, what have you done so far? Have you done your transfers? Have you used some of the spring signs? And the honeybee signs. That was another bundle that they did together, was the honeybee stencils. So those will be back up on the website as available as of next week. So while they just kind of check what stock is there and left from doing and fulfilling all of the pre-orders, Essential Stencil is going to be popping that back as, so right now some of the spring stencils you will see as coming soon on the website. Next week, I've been told, they will be back on the site. So, but if you did get the pre-orders, you won't have missed out on anything. So then they just have to sort of see what stock is available left, and they'll be up there next week. Oh, I think that was a little bit runny. I hope it didn't get it all underneath. Barbara's got her collection and you've been working on several boards. That is so good. They are great, aren't they? And Kim, you received your detail brushes today. That's amazing. Yeah, she's talking about these little tiny artist brushes, and they've got beautiful soft, what do you call that, synthetic bristles, and they are great for doing details and the bridges. So if you've got a stencil that you would prefer to close in those bridges that are necessary for joining the letters together when you do create stencils, if you want to get rid of those bridges, you can use the bridging brushes or the detail brushes to do that. You can use my code I Restore Stuff even for getting brushes and any of the wooden tags or literally anything on the Essential Stencil website. Just pop my code in where you can add your coupon codes at checkout. I restore stuff. All right, just going over that now, making sure it's nice and solid. And we'll pop that up and see how that turned out. And then we'll get our transfers on here. There we go. So why don't I will see if I can actually show you and demonstrate those bridging brushes here in just a second. I might just bridge together the O and the E. Let's see. So you can see the white edging, the outline. That makes that shadow underneath, so it sort of creates a little bit of a pop of the words to stand out more from the cross. And I'll just do that, a little bit of the bridging brushes. The bridging brushes, or the detail brushes they're called, they come in 6 different sizes. So a lot of you are probably like, oh, she just put that on the wet paint. It's actually pretty much dry. That's why we use that dry brush method. It's almost dry. Okay, so I'm going to use probably one of the tiniest little brushes out of the detail brush set. And I'm just going to get this littlest bit of black. Now I don't want to pop that straight on here. I want to actually offload a little bit because they will be quite full of paint. So I'm just going to offload that slightly. And the L doesn't have a bridge, only the O, because they need a bridge to keep the center in the O. So I didn't do a bridge on the shadow, but that's okay. Oh guys, I'm shaking. No, I'm not shaking too bad. All right. There we go. So I'll bring this up to show you closer. So now we've closed that little gap on the O. Can you see the gap down at the bottom of the V? Right here. That's a bridge to hold that V in place together. So let's close that one up. I still should have enough on my brush. And so closing that gap there. You can see I've closed the V. Are there any gaps on the E? Yep, just little gaps, 1, 2, 3, where the E joins together. And offloading that detail brush over here. So if you did prefer the look of no bridges, grab a hold of these. You can use my code I restore stuff to get these, and they will be, if you just type in brushes in the search bar on essentialstencil.com, they'll come up with all of the stencil brushes. So some people prefer to get, even the stencil brushes get a second set, so that if you're using colours and you're doing lots of signs, they might be have a different colour on them. You want to wash them out, but you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to use them right away because they'll be too wet to stencil with, because you don't want that runny paint bleeding underneath your stencil edges. Okay, almost there. I feel like I just need a little bit more on my brush, but I don't want to put too much on there. There we go. So now all of those bridges are closed up for the word love, and I could go ahead and do that with the rest of them, but that's all. I just want to give you a bit of a demo on that to show you the bridging detail brushes. Now let's have a look at our transfers. So we've got our wooden cross, but the greatest of these is love. That's standing out there nicely. So these transfers that I'm using today are from the Spring Bunny Transfer Set, and they will be, it will say coming soon on the website, but they will be back available next week. So let's have a look. What did we decide? 2 or 3 of these? So I've cut out my transfers. I'm going to pop the little butterfly up here somewhere. I think that looks cute. And there's a butterfly down here, so let's do that one on that side. Maybe it might be just enough with 2, do you think? We'll use these similar colours. I do like the red. I like those red tulips. They're saying, you're saying 3. Is everybody saying 3? See if I can fit 3. I might put this one, okay, here's what I'll do. Put these either side. I sort of want them to come from that central point, but I don't have to do that. We can put them 3 there, and then this one right in the center. Okay, I've got my placement. Leave that one there, don't move. All right, so here we go. Let's see if I can get this down a little bit further. I've got a tool that will come with your set. It's just a plastic rubbing tool so that it'll rub on our transfer. Now I've got this butterfly is actually separate, but because it's all attached to the top clear plastic, we just have to tear away the bottom white backing, and the butterfly is right here. So here, this is the sticky side, don't touch that. You want to lay it down exactly where you want it to go, and it will cross over these little edges that I've got going on, these ridges that I've got in my wood. So I'm going to just rub that down with my hands for a minute, and then we'll rub the transfer as best we can. And you'll see that they are just a little bit translucent, which I really love. I love that you can, there's no edging on it. It just seamlessly looks like I've hand painted these. Makes me feel like an artist, which I'm not. I can maybe draw stick people. So when you get to these edges, this is going to be a bit tricky. You've got to stand up, lean over. If you don't have one of these, or if you lose yours, they do have some more on the website. You can pop one in your cart when you're getting stencil brushes and things. But you could also just use a store credit card type, a store card. Okay, I'm going to rub those as best I can, but when I get to them, I'll concentrate on doing that a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up this plastic here. Whoops. The clear plastic, and just make sure as I've rubbed it that there's none sticking to the edges as I peel it back, because I've rubbed all over. It's going good so far, but if I do see that there's something that is still stuck to the clear plastic, I'm going to lay it back down. There goes the butterfly. And on this, oh, I think we're good. Wow, that went on really nicely. So now I can just go over with my fingers. So there is that edge in here, which I could just get a little blade and slice through those to make it nice and even. Maybe I could do it with the scissors. I'll do that in a minute. I'll do the other ones first, but so you get the idea. So you can see how beautiful that looks down the bottom. Okay, butterfly. All right, so again, just kind of getting my placement right, popping this one here, this one around about here. I will take off the white paper backing, get it to around about where I want it, and rub that down. Did I mention there are prizes? If you're new here today, let us know, because join in the conversation here in the comments. Let us know if you're new today. We give away prizes here on Essential Stencil Lives. We have 5 different ambassadors bringing you live demos of the stencils and the transfers each weekday. And so at the end of our live, we will be choosing winners. 3 lucky winners will grab prizes today. So don't want you to miss out. Join in the conversation, because that's the only place we can kind of pick people from. Okay, I'm doing that again here, just peeling it back. This one's gone on really well. I can see just a little area right at the end where it's stuck to the clear plastic. So if you see it sticking, just lay it back down. There we go, all clear. And 3 was a good choice, whoever said 3. Okay, so we've got this nice one in the center here. Again, just peeling that back. There we go, pop it down in the center. And you can layer them. So I've got this one going over the top, that one's going over the top of that one. So even when you're layering them, they will all stay on there nicely. And these will actually, you can seal the whole project when you're finished. And I would just use something like a matte tough coat sealer, or you could use a gloss sealer, whatever you like to seal your projects with. Go ahead and do that. I may even just leave them. I don't feel like I want to cut that across the little gap. All right, here we go. Peeling this one off. I'm going to add a little butterfly on top of the cross. Yeah, so if you're wondering where the cross came from, it comes from the He Is Risen set. So the link is there in the description of the live or in the pinned comment. and it's a porch leaner. So it's a He Is Risen porch leaner, which is a beautiful Easter themed leaner, porch sign. And it's got 2 crosses in there actually, so there'll be a smaller one plus this size cross, and so they are great to use with other projects as well. As you can see with this one, you can make other signs with all of your letters and stencils and projects and things. So yeah, so I think this is a good year-round sign. You don't have to just have it out for Easter. You could have it, it's a beautiful spring flowers down the bottom there. You could use it year-round. But the greatest of these is love. So, okay, all clear on there. So now that's beautiful. That's really sitting nicely down at the bottom of the cross there. And let's pop a butterfly. Butterflies remind me of new life. So I'm not sure if I want to put it there. I think I'm going to pop it right up here. I don't want to cross over that. See that little gap there? So I think I'll just pop it out to the side, just slightly. So many choices, I know. There are. There we go. Beautiful butterfly. Signs of spring, new life. I was thinking too, you know, I wasn't sure what to do to finish off this whole thing. I was thinking I could even do a glaze over the top, but I kind of like the way it's looking now, especially with this rustic look of the old rugged cross. There we go. So that's that transfer all done. And so then I could just add a clear sealer over the top of that. And what do you think? How do you like that project today? Wow, I had another one lined up, another project as well, but I won't get to that today. I think this one is just perfect. So there are lots of Easter signs still available on the site, and the ones from the spring sets will be available next week, the spring bundles. There's a bright light right on the screen there. That's my code, iRestoreStuff. So you'll find me at iRestoreStuff.com on and at iRestoreStuff on any of the social medias like Facebook, Instagram. You'll find me there. So guys, stay tuned. We're going to pick some winners right now to win some stencil sets. So the Essential Stencil is online right now. They are looking for winners, and we will post them very shortly. But don't forget to use my code iRestoreStuff on Essential Stencil's site. Hang on, there we go. And thank you, Donna. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rhonda, for your comments. There's so many helpful people in the comments here. If you do have questions, let me know, because I will go on here in a minute after the live is finished, and I'll answer your questions. And if you didn't get a copy of that Fusion Mineral Paint affiliate link, I can pop that in for you. But there's a bit of shadowing we did today. If you missed the beginning of the live, don't forget to catch the replay. You can comment the word replay also in the next 24 hours for another chance at winning a prizes. So if you don't win this time, go back and watch the replay and comment the word replay in there. So we've got a bit of drop shadow on the words, and then we've got the cross from the He Is Risen porch leaner set, and we've got the flowers are all from the spring bunny transfers. And then the other set was the mini set called Love Like Jesus. Okay, so that's the Love Like Jesus. There's actually 6 plus a bonus stencil in that mini set. So if you want any of those today, the links are all there at the description of the live, and you can use my code iRestoreStuff anytime though. So congratulations, those winners tonight. We've got Pam and Diana and Tanya. So thank you so much for watching. Those winners, you can email support@essentialstencil.com. Let them know that you were a winner on Sharon's live tonight. And I will see you again next week for another DIY Fun Live. I can't believe it's March already. Can you? Oh my goodness. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.